Ah, yes. It's another episode. Lucky number 7. Episode 7 of the main character podcast. This is the main character, the captain, Fly Guy Kai. And though I did have a. Okay, so sometimes when you have goals, you kind of got to make a change to them, right? So I do want to make a lot of videos. Instead of just saying 100 straight through, a lot of videos. Now, why? Because I've always been a person that says quality over quantity. And sometimes you just got to you got to keep it real with yourself. You have to understand that sometimes you may not have things to say that day. And to pull it out of thin air doesn't really help. So I didn't have much to say as far as maybe like yesterday or the day before. But I do like to enjoy stuff every once in a while, so that way then I'll have something to talk about. Mind you, even though I'm only talking for maybe an hour to an hour and a half, you still need stuff to talk about. All right. And you know me, I'm keeping it a buck until I get a professional setting where either I go to a studio or something, or I have a team of people that I do podcasts with, and we do this thing a little differently. For now, y'all gonna get the best part. I don't know a song that concludes that, but you're gonna get the best part of me. And what I want to talk about is the old X-Men animation, right? I might have said it before. The new X-Men, X-Men 97 that came out, fire. 10 out of 10. I recommend. Go watch it. I have this meter, right? Gotta see it. See it when you got time. Don't even waste your time. You gotta see it. It's 10 episodes, okay? 10 episodes. Each episode got some heat to it. And the one thing I like about it, right? For a lot of people, makes you go back and watch the older X-Men. I watched it every now and again as a child, but I wasn't really too big into X-Men like that. I'm not even gonna lie. My thing was more DC. So Batman the animated series, Justice League, Static Shock, stuff like that. I think I may have watched because I may have watched Spider-Man, the anime series when it came out here and there, but X-Men I've seen like a couple episodes sparsely. It was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I was a big anime person, if I would say so. And anime definitely had the better animation. So I definitely leaned over to anime. But going back and watching the old X-Men show, funny. Very funny. The first episode is funny. I'll point out two things, right? Wolverine. Wolverine is funny. He's got these one-liners, and he's not a dickhead or anything. It's just when it happens, it happens. When he always calls Scott pretty boy, because the way that Scott acts, and Scott acts like the the captain of the football team, the boss, or maybe not the boss, but he's like the like assistant president of like a company or something. He's like this, and he's got his shirt tucked into his pants. He's got slacks on and a polo, of course, with his little cop sunglasses and everything. And we got to do it this way because that's the book. Like, man, then you got Wolverine who ain't Wolverine, like literally cut this shit. Always calls him pretty boy whenever he wants to get into it, right? There, and yo, I guess spoiler alert, but this is like, it's got to be like 30 years old. This is like 30 years old, okay? Anyway, there's like the first 2 episodes, okay? They're going to try to save Jubilee because she was captured by the company that has made the Sentinels. They leave Morph behind, and they leave Beast behind. But they had no choice because the situation was getting hairy. Like, you gotta escape the people you got and try to get out of here. It's either they get some of us or they get all of us. And you don't want them to get all of us. So they kind of had to make that executive decision and just go. Scott had to make that decision. He was like, yo, we got to get out of here. Book it. They land, and Wolverine knows this. As soon as they land, Scott is just walking off, and he's like Ace Summers, and just right in the stomach. Right in the stomach. Like, yo, he straight punches old buddy right in the stomach. And he just like, next time it's gonna be with these, and the claws come out. I'm like, yo, Wolverine. Rightfully so, he was pissed, but seeing the bigger picture, it was the right move. But it was still just like, damn, you not only left Beast, which is my peoples, but you left Morph, who was really my peoples. Like, that was my boy, and you left him behind. And even when they like go to check up, and Jean's like, don't worry, Beast is okay. Like, yo, what happened to Morph? They give that little shaky head. They're like, nah, you know what I mean? He didn't make it. So now he's extra pissed. And on top of that, when he has to go storm off, Gambit is coming down the hall, and he just shoves Gambit aside and says, "Move it, Gumbo." Like, yo, it's those types of, yo, Wolverine. Can you say someone's your spirit animal? I mean, technically his name's Wolverine. So, spirit animal. I would have been doing the same thing. Listen, you leaving my peoples behind, I'm gonna be pissed. He cut Scott's car and was like, hey, tell Scott I made him a convertible. He cut the top off of his fucking whatever Toyota Corolla 1994 Toyota Corolla he had. And mind you, I had one of those in Tokyo. I mean, not Tokyo, Japan. I actually had a Toyota Corona. When I tell you, even in snow, rain, sleet, snow, I was getting from point A to point B to point C perfectly fine at a 1994. But this was back in 2011. But still, like, but back on point. It's just the older, when you go back to watch older shows, even older anime, that I do with 5 on anime, when I go back to see the first 5 episodes, if it really would capture my attention today and exactly why I watched it back then. But when you look back at these episodes, you see the story points. It's like, okay, it had something for kids and it had something for adults. And one of the things that this show has shown me, and that life shown me in general, but this show has shown me in the past episodes too. Magneto. There's a part where, you know, Beast is captured. They're trying to put him on trial. And you know how people feel about, you know how they feel about mutants. So is he going to get a fair trial? No. This is like putting black people on trial back in the 1950s. Like, you know it's going to be unfair. So potentially Beast was going, you know, he's going to get harshly judged or whatever anyway. Magneto steps in, moving the door open, busting the wall down. Yo, I'm here to get you out. And Beast is on that same type of time Professor's on, because the Professor preaches we have to learn to work together with humans. We have to show them compassion this way and that way. And even then, was it Stan Lee that always said it? I think Stan Lee. It was like, yo, these two, Magneto and Charles, were like loosely kind of based on Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, respectively. So yeah, you had one that was like, yo, I'm really down with this by any means necessary, and then you have one that's like, by any means necessary, we must be good to humans. We must be good to humans. And Magneto was like, dog, I'm not waiting for them to give you a trial. I'm here to bust you out. Like, whatever Charles is preaching sound good, but in practice, in actuality, is not. And Beast got the chains taken off. put the chains back on, said, I will have my day in court, and that's what I'm going to stick to it. Magneto's just like, fine, fool. Because that's what he is. And even Charles goes back and he thinks about the time he first met Magneto and they were helping people out in a certain place. And they still were trying to go after him. So Magneto was trying to put that heavy hand down, make him say, hey, yo, I got the power to make you stop it. Stop it. And Charles is getting in the way. Yo, when it comes to how the world was treating mutants and how Charles was just reluctant no matter what. Mutants could essentially die. Arms, limbs cut off or something. Just like we have to. There's some good ones out there. We gotta. I'm not gonna hold you. They have a shirt called Magneto is right. I want to buy it so badly. Like they both have a point, but on the meter of Charles Xavier to Magneto, I'm leaning more towards the Magneto side. Okay, look, especially in this world where you got robots, technology they're building to purposefully take mutants and do whatever they want to them. You got people trying to experiment on mutants. You got people that just outright hate them and would like do things to the families or something. It's about my people. And since y'all keep coming, and Charles, it's not like they don't get chances because Charles is your chances. Charles is the chances I would give you. And every time you go against him, I'm stepping in. I'm the heavy gun. I'm the master of magnetism. Your whole humanity's life is built around the elements: fire, air, earth, water. Particularly earth. And particularly within that category of earth, you have subcategories like metals. And you guys need metals for your structures, for your weapons, for your main technology. And me being the master, I am definitely powerful. So y'all try to get heavy-handed, I got the heavy hand. What you trying to do about it? And there's times where like they're so unfair. It's like, nah, we're gonna even the scoreboard. Magneto. Listen, if you've watched The Boys, okay, that's how, I hate to say it, but that's how society will be. For some, and not for, of course, they're gonna have good people, and like me, I say, I'm not gonna be out there just outright just hurting humans. And to an extent, Magneto wasn't really doing that. Magneto just wanted humans to leave mutants alone. But the humans kept fucking with mutants. So Magneto is on the other end of that, like, all right, since you keep fucking with us, I'm going to keep fucking with you. Every time you try to hit us, I'm going to hit you back harder until you stop. And if you shove me, I'm going to punch you. Okay? If you're holding on to me, I'm going to crush you. They got the shirt. Magneto was right. I want that shirt. Know what I mean? That's what it kind of goes into my next thing with writing, because I write. I'm not like a super big writer, but I'm working on my own stories. And one of the things that I like to pay attention in a lot of things is the villain, and how the good villains are ones that people are kind of on the fence about with liking. Like the big thing they had with Killmonger was that a lot of people would side with Killmonger because to some extent he was right. Not so much about like, and I gotta go watch it again, like not so much about like forcefully taking over like the world in general, even though it was done to you, you know what I mean? But neither here nor there. But he had that one thing where went to Wakanda and was like, yo, y'all got all this technology, all these resources, and so advanced. Like, y'all got enough here to go help our brothers and sisters, not just in this continent, not just in these countries of Africa, but all over the world that look like you and are struggling. And y'all decide to keep it right here. We've been struggling, and mind you, Wakanda's been around for a long time. So they've been advanced for a long time. It's like, yo, we've been out there struggling, and y'all have had the power to help us fight back, and y'all chose not to? Nah, I'm taking this. Yo, I'm not only did y'all kill my father, y'all left me there for myself. Y'all didn't bring me or nothing. Y'all didn't try to explain it or nothing. You just was like, oh, got your father out of here. We gonna leave you there in Compton. So y'all couldn't even give him safety. Y'all just is like a selfish thing. And even to T'Challa, he went to the motherlands, was like, yo, y'all were wrong for what y'all did. And to an extent, it's like you can't help everybody, but you can help some. They ain't trying to help nobody. We are here. We helping all we got right here. We not let, even if we do got the technology, we still not lending it out. And people would side with that. Like, yo, Killmonger has a point. Now, forcefully taking over, can't get with that. But you can see his points. With just going over Marvel villains, because DC villains, if you want a villain to root against, to hate, DC's gonna give you that. If you want villains where you're on the fence and you're not sure whether or not you want to actually root for them, Marvel. That's what they're gonna give. They're gonna give you the complex villains. DC does have complex villains, but these are villains that you also more than likely are gonna hate. Going off of Batman's rogues, Bane, Joker, like things that you saw already in movies. Bane, Joker, Riddler, like people that are off the wall. You seen Mr. Freeze, but if you understand Mr. Freeze and his whole thing, even then he's still like, they're doing these crimes for them. So yeah, you want to root against them. You mostly root for them to get taken down. It's like, how are they gonna take them down? Oh yeah, that's how they do it. Yeah, cool. With Marvel, well, the way that Marvel movies had it, as far as their writing of a villain, could have had some type of point. Especially with Thanos. It was like, yo, you're gonna run out of sources eventually, resources. My planet ran out of resources, and you know what we did? We fought till the bitter end and killed everyone. And essentially, his idea was like, I'm gonna get these stones, and pretty much throughout the universe, I am going to snap my fingers, and I'm not gonna choose just a roll of the dice. That's a crazy lisp. Roll of the dice. Half the population is going to be gone. The other half of the population stays and gets the resources. To an extent, you're like, damn, that's a good solution. To another extent, you just killed people. You didn't even give us a chance to see if we would. But he just took it upon himself to be like, listen, they consider me a god in certain spaces. So if anybody know, I know. And no, it's not going to turn out the way you think. So I'm trying to help y'all out. That's why old buddy did his thing, sat on the little farmland out there in space. Was like, mission accomplished. I feel good. Like, yo, mission accomplished. I feel good. People should be thanking me. But making not only complex villains when it comes to writing, but making those on the fence villains that people have to really go back, look, and think like, is he wrong? Are their motivations wrong? Are they just a straight out villain? What's the effect? Like having these like think pieces out to it, that's the type of villain that I would like to, or type of antagonist that I would like to create in my stories. I don't want to say villains because sometimes there can be antagonists in the story that aren't necessarily bad. They happen to be in a way. Maybe like rivals would be antagonists. Like you can have a good rival. Like, yo, they're in the way. They're good, but they're in the way. And funny thing about writing too, getting off into that, is First off, fan fiction writing. I finished the Life of the Bat. Left it a little cliffhanger because I was like, okay, I think I wrote enough. I wrote like 8 pages, and I left it off at a specific part. So if I want to do more fan fiction writing on that, I can. But I think I did that with majority of. I think I did it with majority of the fan fiction. I still have to get to. I still have to get to the Dark Knight for the fantasy version of DC. Fan fiction is fun. I was getting in the zone. I was. You know how church pianists do when they get into it and slide and everything. Still, sometimes they be dancing too, and they're still getting to it and just writing and getting in the zone. That's my happy place. That's one of my happy places, is when I can get into the zone of writing, and I'm just going. The ideas are just going, and I'm just like, okay, let me get this one. Oh, I got this idea. Let me put this down. That mind flow. The story just coming to me, writing it down, connecting all the dots. Dog. yo, being creative, no matter what you do, hopefully it's good, but no matter what you do, when being creative, art, dance, music, even if it's not the greatest, just do it. Dog. If it makes you happy, if that's what makes you at peace, you don't have to show anybody. You can just write it for you. Or you just show your friends and get some feedback, or you just show a small amount of people. Maybe you put it into a Reddit or a Discord or something. Or if you do want to share it, then you share it. But just be creative. One of the things that, I'm not a super religious person. I say spiritual because I believe in certain aspects of a lot of religions. But mainly because I have a Christian default type background. I kind of have most of my beliefs based in that area. But one of the things that I do is I pray every day. And one of the things that I do is just thank God for the fact that he created everything, and then the fact that I do believe we have free will. And that he gave us the ability of not only free will, but he gave us the ability to create. Like, we can create. If you like randomly just wanted to make a story right now, just a story about anything, you can go do that. If you want to sing, no matter how good or bad, if you want to go do that, create a song, you can do that. If you want to draw, no matter if it's the hand turkeys or if it's just anime eyes, like I do a lot of anime eyes. Like when I want to draw, I just draw anime eyes. Mostly Dragon Ball Z, because that's my rest in peace, Kirito Young. But you have the power to create. And I believe that being creative is being a creative person, creative arts, whatever, is next to godliness. Like they use this for some reason. You say cleanliness is next to godliness. I think that was like some type of there's some other type of context to it. But I do believe, since God is basically the I don't know how to put it in words, but it's just God is the creator. And since we also have the ability to create, are we in any way, shape, or form gods? No. But godliness is, in a sense, all forms of creativity. And to be creative is sort of like, I feel like being a creative and creating is sort of, in our way, giving thanks. Like, you give us this gift and we're using it. What better thanks is that? I didn't know I was going to go to that. I didn't know I was going to go to that angle, but I do like it. That's why I like when I talk sometimes, that mind flow set. I feel like, okay, I can connect this, talk about this or what I'm feeling. That's what mainly this is. This is me talking about things that pop in my head. I usually have a lot that pop in. I have an outlet. Hopefully I find an audience for people just like, yo, whether you're at work, you're on the way to work, you got some time and you need something to listen to, you listen to all your other podcasts, you listen to music, the same music about 100 times a day and you don't feel like listening to it right now, I'm trying to bring that extra aspect of, yo, let me listen to this, something to listen to. I might have some points, I might have some agreeing to it. I might make my own video because they brought up good points. Or you go into the comment section, have a blast. Listen, that's what it is. And the story update, writing's going okay. Mental health, check. I'm good. Not great. Like, you see me, I'm in good spirits right now, but not the greatest. But I'm not the worst. And I'll take that. When I'm in the middle, I will take that. If I'm not the happiest, but I'm not like the most depressed or the saddest, I'll take that. I'll take that over bad days any day. A thought I had, ChatGPT. I seen the thing where now you can almost like, was it Her, the movie Her, with Joaquin Phoenix, where he kind of grew into a relationship with AI as he was talking back and forth, conversing with it. ChatGPT has now the voice, like the voice option. So you can just speak to ChatGPT. You can choose one of the 6 voices that will answer back, 3 male, 3 female, and have that conversation. It's not like a super like, oh, I'm talking to a person, but it's that aspect of you can talk and say, hey, ChatGPT, this is what's been on my mind. ChatGPT will come back like, oh, so that's on your mind. Well, why would that be on your mind at this time? And you talk to it. It's almost like a therapist in a way. Not really, but it's crazy how far AI has come. Because they'll get down, okay, break down this, this, and this. First, let's talk about this part. Like, what about this makes you feel like this? And ChatGPT will probably be like that for a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are alone or lonely if they don't have anyone to talk to. The possibilities of Her, like the possibilities of a lot of these science fiction movies, are starting to come to reality. And that part could be scary because there's a lot of science fiction movies out there that don't technically have the best outcome for society or the best ending. We're just hoping that it doesn't turn into shit like Eagle Eye or Terminators or iRobot. But talking about AI, that's good. What's in my cup? Strawberry banana tea. It's pretty good. AI help. This was a big thing because companies are starting to turn to AI. They're starting to replace people with AI help, which it makes sense in a way from their perspective, because if they don't need that many people to do a job that a simple AI program could do, like codes and stuff like that, but you still need, my thing is you still need people there. You still need people because there are certain aspects about being human that technology can't comprehend, or they don't embody. Especially when it comes to art. You see like the AI art, like generated stuff. It looks cool, but people would put more oomph into it, no matter how far they get when it comes to this. Like, you can generate and do whatever, but somebody that has an artistic expression that comes straight from their mind, and in a way, our minds sort of work like computers where we'll remember bits and pieces of certain things, and that kind of affects how we will draw something, paint, sculpt, compose. There's still that certain soul to it that you can kind of feel. And there's a big thing with writing. Remember the writer's strike? Some of that included AI stuff. With AI, if somebody was to want a script, you could just plug it in and say, hey, this, give me a script. That's replacing a lot of writers. Then, hey, can you edit the script? A lot of editors. So in that aspect, AI is starting to take over like that. But you get another aspect to where AI, people talk about it. AI is more So it's supposed to be like a tool. It's supposed to be a help. It's supposed to be another tool in the tool belt. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the answer. It's just supposed to be a way to help you solve the equation. It's not the, when it's 2 plus 2, it's not 4. So it's not the answer, but it's the guidance to where, hey, if you have 2, you're going to want to put 2 and put them in a group together. Now, what does that mean? Then you'll come up with the answer like, oh, okay, so it's kind of supposed to help you in that way. And certain exercises with writing, I have logged into, like, because I have ChatGPT. So while I won't have ChatGPT like, hey, create me a fantasy story, create me a superhero story, I already have ideas. I already have beginnings, I already have endings, and I already somewhat have ideas for middles. But what I do is, instead of just talking to myself, because I don't really have like writing friends like that, I may bounce off my own ideas or inspirations with ChatGPT. Not to lean too heavy into it. Like I will, let's say if I need sometimes I might use it for Google type thing. Like, oh, what type of character if I want to make a character that's kind of on the scale of Vegeta, what kind of character type is Vegeta? Like, oh, Vegeta is this type, this type, this type, this type. Like, oh, well, can you break down what each of those aspects mean? This. Like, okay, what happens if you would take out? So I'm kind of building my idea, right? And I'm kind of broadening it with AI to an extent. So I already know the directions with certain things that I want to go, but when I'm doing Googles anyway, and I'm looking for answers from other different sites, I'm getting it from one source, and that is ChatGPT. So I'm against someone just giving a single make me a Batman script. I'm against that. But what I am for is, if you want to make a Batman script and you think about, hey, I want to make a Batman script. He's already been Batman for like 5 years. He's got Robin. I want to use 2 street level criminals and I want to use 2 supervillains. Hey, chat, give me a list of Batman street level villains. Give me a list of Batman street level supervillains. Then they give you that list, and then you just choose 2. Like, oh, what appearance number did they come in? So who appeared first? Like, oh, this person, this person. All right, cool. I kind of know where I'm going. What were their stories in the comics? Or what comics were their stories based off of? Like, what issues? Then you go back and... So I'm doing stuff like that. That's why I think it's important that there should be classes on how to use AI. Just like there should have been classes on how to use the internet, should be classes on how to use AI. Because, like it or not, AI is here, and AI is here to stay. But how we use AI, even some of the major companies don't know how to use AI. A lot of the money hungry ones only see, oh, I can have less and get out more. Like, oh, they're only hearing that, oh, there's the answer, but they don't hear the process it takes to get what they want. So you'll see, like, when they're trying to get rid of all these jobs, you're like, hey, I need you to just do this with AI. And people go to tell you, like, yeah, no, you need more. Like, you need specifics, which means you need more people that have experience with this in order to ask the AI the specifics. Then you're going to see people hiring people back. And hopefully the people they try to hire back, the people they try to hire back, I hope they give them the middle finger. Like, nah, I know what you're trying to do. So don't let AI be the answer. Instead, let it be part of the solution. Now, talking about AI, ooh, moves into my next topic that I want to get into with electric cars. Electric cars, they are, they're good, right? You think about electric cars, you think about all the bad that goes with burning these fossil fuels and how we have different solar energy that people try to use, especially solar panels to generate electricity. That saves a lot. We have wind power, water power, and of course, electric power. Now, electric power, less emissions, helps keep down the pollution. As far as burning the fossil fuels, you figure everybody want to get back on this. Tesla was having it. The concept was there already, but Tesla was capitalizing on it, especially here in America. But to be honest, from all the things I see, literally seen out in the street, and from what I see people and I see all the recalls and stuff, it's like Tesla was just, they're rushing it to get the product out there first to say that they have the first. They're known as the company with the electric cars. And it's much like the touch phone. When the touch phone first came out, whoever came out with the touch phone first, you would figure like they would just have the full, like no one's gonna go to any other company, which they didn't for a while. Like people didn't, like when it came to iPhone, even no, it starts waning down now. When it came to iPhone, when they had that touch phone, they had the touch phone things on lock. But once other companies figured out exactly the mechanics behind the touch phone, how it works, and how they can make theirs a little different but operate in some ways better, then now you can't go anywhere without a company not having a touch phone. Even like Metro has got a touch phone. Like a lot of these companies have touch phones now. So the same thing with electric cars. A lot of these companies have electric cars, and you're gonna find one that starts to have a better look. And there's one of these companies. There's these Chinese companies that's coming out with an electric car. I think it's more so a hybrid, but even if you don't use the gas part, you still have the electric part. And I think it said something about together with gas and electric, you could get about 600 miles before having to refuel. And that's good. Not only that, but going over there, because of the conversion rate with the money right now, if you were to go over there, or I think just in general, if you were to go over there and get one of these electric vehicles that really work, like they got the bells and whistles on them, if you were to go over there and purchase one, it would cost you the equivalent of $10,000 for us. And government, president, whoever signed off on something, I don't know too much about these words, like tariffs and stuff like that, but 100% tariff, which the person explained, they're doubling the cost of the vehicle. So something where people could actually have an affordable vehicle for once, instead of having to go buy vehicles that came out 10 or 20 years ago and that are ready to break down already. You just need something from A to B. Instead of having stuff affordable like that, America tends to show the super greedy side and say, hey, we're going to double this because we want more of the money on the back end. Like China's going to get their money, but we want a big chunk of that too. And that's just the effect where if this is 20,000, they're gonna come out with another one and it's gonna be about 30,000. This one's gonna be 40,000, and we're gonna be right back to people not being able to afford cars, or there's gonna be high car notes. The electric vehicles, electricity, solar power is supposed to be the way. It's supposed to help. We're supposed to want to move into a better direction, but for some reason, Greed is a very powerful sin, and it is taking over to the point where it gets in the way of the further development of not only the world, but society, people. A lot of things get in that way, but I'm talking about as far as things that we can help to manage, as far as pollution, there's stuff like that. And a thing that pops out to me when someone broke it down, looking on TikTok, like always, almost like TV, where someone said, hey, this this notion that when you go over to Korea or Japan or China or maybe the Netherlands or something, it, people will say, "Yo, they're living in 2050 while we're still living in 2024." It's not that. It's just they put the money that the taxpayer, well, the money that the citizens pay into, as far as like taxes and stuff like that, the government in turn puts into the community. They're fixing the streets. They're making better means of transportation and travel, the infrastructure, the water. And you think about all the problems we're having here where they're just building buildings, not really putting too much care into them, still charging us double, triple, the outrageous prices. They want a lot. They want a lot more from us for a lot so they want to give us a lot less and charge us a lot more. And that's not how the country is going to get stronger. The streets are trash. How we handle certain weather conditions, how we handle certain ways that we do buildings, it's not up to par. We had this thing where America seemed to be number one everywhere, and I feel like we stagnated at some point because maybe we were progressing fast, and some of the other countries, their progression was at a slightly lower angle. So while it looked like they were progressing slower and we were progressing faster, they were really just keeping steady, and they still haven't dropped off. They're still keeping steady. So now when we have hit this stagnation or plateau in a way where we're not really moving as forward, or our angle tends to dip down like theirs and theirs tends to dip up, then of course they're passing us. And that's not just with infrastructure, that's also with education, that's with way of life. So we can look at other countries. That's one thing. America, that's also another sin, is pride. And though having pride in your country is cool and it's fine and all, and we love that. We love for you to have pride in your country because you want to make the country better. That can also get in the way too, because you don't reach out. You don't look at other countries, because you're looking at other countries and be like, well, we're America, so we don't have to do it the way everybody else does. Or you can look at how other countries do things, learn from it, or take certain things from it, bring it back, and make the country better. That part of pride. How about that? Using pride in a good way. Have pride in wanting to make your country better, and make your people better. Instead of just going off of, nah, we got this. Sometimes you don't have it. Sometimes, and this is a separate life lesson thing, but sometimes you need outside help. Sometimes you have to look at references. And it's like that when it comes to creating, when it comes to songs, when it comes to drawing. When it comes to drawing, and it's because I have this thing too when I was drawing. I can't draw hands or feet. I definitely can't do it from memory. I need references, and that's okay. At first I was just like, man, it's not going to be true if I don't just like, if I can't draw it from my head or something. But a lot of like poses, I don't have all the poses in the world thought up, or how it is in my mind is not translating exactly on paper. So I need references. References are good because it helps you add on certain things and make what you're working on better. So we need to add on certain things that we see from other, not just other cultures, but other countries, and make our own country better before it turns to complete shit. We have the answer. We just don't want to do anything about it. Or not we. Majority of the people want to do something about it, but it's the people at the top that don't want to change. They have too much pride. There's greed in the way. Like there's a myriad of things that they won't tell us, but they'll try to blame it on, other things, other people, other processes. Oh, it'll take too long. Oh, there's not enough money. Like, especially now with everything going on, don't tell us we don't got enough money, because you can divert some of that money that you're giving out to us to help us in some type of way. I don't know how as a country we grow if those at the top keep fucking us over. Like how do we move? How do we move up when there's people that are continuously kicking us down? And that's across all races, religions. There's someone that's constantly kicking us down, no matter what form it is. Something is continuously not letting us get to the potential that we have, and it's for their own reasons, which really sucks in the long run for all of us. Drink break. Stay hydrated, okay? The summer's coming up. Regardless of where you're at, whether you're up north is getting hot, but down here, South Carolina, it's definitely heating up. I enjoy the heat, but I definitely drink a lot of water, and I'm going to increase it because I'm trying to be outside more and more. But getting to that, I want to talk about something happier because it was kind of like it took like a me talking about certain stuff to like a more serious tone to something less happy. Let me turn on the light. Ooh, that boy light skin. All right, cool. Now that it's darker outside, the light, it's still doing the most because again, I'm a yellow guy. I don't know what you want me to say. Like light is gonna shine off. Light is gonna shine off of me like it did on the vampires in Twilight. I don't know why. I don't know why. But I want to get to older music talk. Hey yo, it's cool. It's okay if you want to go back to older music. Not to. I don't like how people are trying to say they have to. They're trying to force like younger generations to go listen to older music. Like, no, you're not listening to real music. Go listen to this. Go listen to that. Like, don't force people. Suggest it. Oh my. I'm always looking at my goatee. My goatee seems off. I gotta shape it up. But I would suggest certain things, all right? So I was again scrolling through TikTok. You know, TikTok is just like everything. TikTok is our cable channel. It's like our menu from back in the 90s where you would just flip through it to see what was there, and if something caught your attention, you look at it for a while and then you keep flipping. That's our channel surfing. Some of you guys, if y'all were born back then, you'd be channel surfing for days. But I seen something come up and it was it was a story. Me and my friends were like, we won't make fun of older music like that, but we will give points like, yo, like they were really singing back in the day, like they were really like putting those vocals in. And one of the videos I came across was the Doobie Brothers, and What a Fool Believes. That song is fire. I've heard it. Of course, I've heard it back in the day. Oh, Now 3 or something. I'm that old to where I remember Now 1, Now 2, Now 3. But when they would put these songs up there, or if you might hear them in movies or something, you don't really think about it. You're just like, oh, that's that band. I'm not listening to them right now. I'm more like me. I was more hip hop, R&B. But going back and listening to some of the songs by the Doobie Brothers, and I just started looking back at other stuff. I'm like, yo, damn, this music right here, this is different. But this is fire at the same time. Okay, I have appreciation for older music, especially, well, what song is that by the main person that sings? Because they turned that into a solid West Coast beat, and that I always remember as a West Coast beat, and I never heard the person that sung it or that created the song. I just knew it was just like a Snoop Dogg West Coast type beat thing. And to hear it, I was like, yo, he's singing. Yo, he's singing his ass off. Like, yo, he got it. Oh, man. But yeah, listen to older music. I would suggest, I don't want to push. I just want to suggest, like, yo, go date, like, our version of digging into the crates. Like, yo, go look on the channels on TikTok or in YouTube, just like top songs from the 80s, top songs from the 70s. You got to do it now. Top songs from the 90s. Oldies. Yo, if they. Oh, man. If I go to an oldie station, and they put on something from the 90s, I'm going to internally cry. Okay. Okay. Yo. If they put on oldies hip hop and I hear Wu-Tang Clan, Protect Your Neck or something, man. But at the same time, when it comes to old age, I fully want to embrace it. That's why I work out. That's why I try to eat better than I do, better than I have, because I want to live long enough to be 85, because there's a lot of people that, like me, I'm starting to, let me see, I don't know if you can see it right here. Damn, I can't point. I'm starting to get, gray hairs here and there, like somewhere around here. Actually, gray and like a reddish brown or orange. It's weird, but at the same time, I get happy because 33, I've seen people that didn't make it past the teenage years, like didn't even make it past 15, didn't even go to high school, or people that just got out of high school and didn't make it, or people that were in the military and didn't make it, past their contract and couldn't go back home. Or you come back home and there's people that still like didn't make it, or you just hear these stories and you're looking at your age, and as it keeps happening, you're like, damn, I'm only 14, or damn, I'm 18, damn, I'm 25, and they were the same age as me. Like, damn, I'm 30. That part, like, I embrace getting old one day, because that's the beauty in it. Like, I see people with gray hairs. I'm like, yo, I can't wait to get old enough to get like that. I'm not coloring my shit in neither. Like, you're just gonna have to see. I'm trying to get my Master Roshi back. Like, you're just gonna have to see this older sensei. I'm not coloring the grays. I'm going to embrace them, because it's just something that happens with age, and it's like to me, in a way, it's almost like a badge of honor, where you're like, yo, throughout, like, after you live for a long, like, especially after you live till 30 and you see everything you got to put up with, how life turns out during high school, after high school, going to college or not being able to go to college, having to work, maybe you have kids at an early age, like, yo, you're going through life, you hit 30 and then still going, you're just like, damn, if I was going through that and I'm at 30 and they made it to 60, like, yo, kudos to them, especially people that make it to 70 and 80. Like, yo, like, I'm trying to get like that. I don't care if I got like the grays right here and you get like some of the grays and some of the black in here. Like, I don't care. Like, dog, especially to live around, and there's so much to, not necessarily you won't be able to do everything, but there's more for you yourself to do and see. And for me, there's so many anime that are coming out that are just fire, and I just I'm gonna see the One Piece, okay? You put that out into the universe. I'm going to see the One Piece, and if it's the power of friendship, we gonna talk about a different type of dedication, okay? I'm sure it's not the power of friendship, but can I switch to that? I'm talking about older music. Listen, dig into your crates. You might find something. If you find something, put other people on. The One Piece. There are certain theories. One of the theories that I did like was that they say something about, Joy Boy is supposed to bring destruction to something. In a way, it would be interesting. One of them said, yo, you can tell by how some of the islands, how they have these parts that are underwater that used to be cities and other buildings. What if, in a way, he destroys something, but it's the Grand Line, in a way to, like, I think, rise those islands, or some way, like you can't decrease. I don't think you can decrease all that water, but a way where they rise all the islands to a point where they start making, instead of these smaller islands, they start making continents like we have. So in a way, it kind of does destroy the Grand Line, because you bring continents and states and countries connected. So if he does that, or if the One Piece is like a way to do that, like a way to connect, because I don't think they're gonna flood everything. It's not gonna happen. But a way to somewhat connect all the islands together, and maybe at that time, how the answer was at that time, there wasn't, like, it wasn't the right time for it. Like the One Piece, it wasn't enough time to activate it. But if it's like Gold Roger found it, seen it, started laughing, like, oh, that's how they're gonna try to do this. Okay, like we won't be able to do it in our time because we still need things to happen. But in the time after us, I need people to actively seek this, because someone's gonna be powerful enough to activate this and set a new world order in motion. Plus, if there's some type of treasure, maybe a devil fruit, a specific devil fruit. What if the One Piece was like a way to, what if it was a way to cure devil fruits? Something in there, just like cure devil fruits, cure that kind of weakness that devil fruits have. Something. It's very entertaining to see people try to guess what the One Piece is. And I like the theory. I like that that's what I want when I make stories. I want them to be maybe long enough to have people make their own guesses as to where it's going to go next, and I want to completely surprise them. I want people to make theories about some of the characters. I want to leave certain characters in mystery, so that way people either make fan fiction about this is their background, or I set up a poll and say, hey, I want to make a side character story about 3 out of the couple of characters from any of my stories, and have a poll up, and whoever's in the lead for that poll, I'll just write a good story about their background, either a certain incident that made them to the status they're at, or like a quick journey through how they came to be. Something like that. I will give Oda that. Oda's, the way that he crafts stories and his foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is, can you say GOAT tier? I think you can. You can say GOAT tier foreshadowing. I would. He deserves it. Man. I really love writing. I'm starting to be one of them, like, I don't want to read. Of course, I can read, but I don't want to read a lot of people's writing, because I kind of want to just, it's cool to take little inspirations here and there, but I don't want to be inspired by too much, because then it will seem like if too many things affect me, then it won't necessarily be my idea. Like, if there's certain, for me, with Magic the Gathering, D&D, the inspiration I take is the class system. Some of the attribute systems, but the class system, knights or warriors, and what other types of what specializations in that warrior class there are. Same thing with mages and rogues and rangers, stuff like special classes. So that I take over. But as far as the magic system itself, the races I have are races they always. I'll let you in a little secret. I have 6 races for my fantasy type of world story that I got where it take a couple of stories take place in. I have um I call them Fane. It's just I seen the thing Fae, and Fae was like super magical, but I was like, what if I call him Fane? And I put Fane at the end of everything. I have Emma Fane, which are the humans of that world. Then I have Alifane, which are the elves of that world. I have Medrafane, which are the water people of that world. Almost like, not like Aquaman, but they definitely are almost like mer people. I think I'm modeling them after koi fish. I have Dralofane, which, as it sounds, sort of like dragon people, except they don't have wings. They kind of be like, that would kind of make them lizards in a way, but at the same time, still dragon people. I have the Fawfane, which are cat-like people, and I think I explained this before, but just to touch on it again. I have Fawfane that are cat-like people. Yeah, they're like cat-like, beast-like people. And then I have the Aviofane, which are bird-like people. So 6 races. Now, I've always seen countless stories do that, where if there's water people, they either look like Aquaman or Namor the Submariner or just blue people underwater. And then there's always cat people. No matter what fiction, fantasy story, there's always cat people. I wanted to kind of make it dog people, but at the same time, the way it worked for me, I was in a way taking inspiration from the 4 sacred beasts in Chinese mythology. So I was kind of leaning towards that, and it was gonna turn out that way anyway. But even then, inspiration. But as far as the names, I have specific elements they may stand for, which then, because they stand for those elements, they kind of take on the personalities of those, and I'm building on that on myself. And as far as like factions or kingdoms, I'm getting sort of the ideas from Magic the Gathering, because Magic the Gathering, they have the color wheel or the color pie system, and each creature that comes from that color shares in a way those values in that kingdom. No matter what iteration, red is going to be red, blue is going to be blue, red, blue, green, white, and black. So there's a format that in that color pie system lists a couple of characteristics of it. And so each person kind of pushes that characteristic forward, whether it's one of those characteristics, 2 of them, all of them. So when it comes to me establishing things like kingdoms and cities and who does what, I'm kind of putting my own spin on what they all stand for, what power they may specifically have. Maybe they have a broad range of classes and special classes particular to that kingdom and those people. And that type of thing is what I like to do with stories and having that inspiration. But as far as like, just reading every type of story, I may read short stories to see the structure of how I could make short stories, but otherwise than that, I don't want to read too many stories. I don't want to be influenced by way too much stuff to the point where I'll make a mistake and completely do something. And it's like, oh wait, somebody already did that. Go back to the drawing board. Oh wait, somebody did that too. Oh man, I incorporated too much stuff. It's a journey. It's a journey. And with that, I would say, you know what? I'm gonna end this off with, what did I list? 10 summaries that I've seen before. 10 summaries that I've seen before. Get it together. 10 anime from my list of anime that I've watched. That's why I started listening to these anime. I'm like, hey, if you started to watch some of these or you haven't watched some of these, then I would say go and check it out. Let me know what you think. And if you have been like, when I list all these anime and you've watched the same ones, we hear this. It's kinship. So the next 10, Case Closed. Case Closed used to come on early on Cartoon Network. Case Closed used to come on right around Hamtaro. Hamtaro. Not including that one, but still. Lupin the Third. I'm always gonna say Lupin the Third. Lupin the Third is just fire. Like, I believe Lupin the Third has something to do with being the blueprint for One Piece. If you look at how Lupin the Third is, how it operates. Rurouni Kenshin. Bato Sai the Manslayer. What's not to love about Bato Sai the Manslayer? Pokemon. Pokemon started out as an anime. The real question is, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Because I don't remember if I watched Pokemon first and then got the game, or I got the game and then watched Pokemon. I'll have to think about that, but Pokemon anime. Transformers Beast Wars. I say Transformers Beast Wars because Transformers is a Japanese animation. But Beast Wars was so dope. My mom watched it too. You know, usually sometimes like your parents won't watch the same things that you watch. Like, oh, what's that? But Transformers Beast Wars, seeing it go from the normal cars, buses, trains, stuff like that. Seeing them go from that to being able to copy the forms of animals and then transforming from that into their robot forms was dope. And when Cheetor got his upgrade and he had like this Wolverine-esque chip on his shoulder. Card Captors. Card Captors, a mystic adventure. Card Captors, quest for all time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cowboy Bebop. First, let me just say Yu-Gi-Oh! Off the King of Games. Yu-Gi was that guy. As soon as he activated his his necklace, you knew what time it was. You knew what you were in for. You knew what you were going to get. The King of Games. And funny thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Yu-Gi-Oh! Started out with him doing that same thing. It was a darker thing too, because the Shadow Realm wasn't really Shadow Realm. That was a PG way of saying death. They was gonna banish you to death. Yugi, when he was challenging people, and he had like Yami Yugi, they were challenging people to any dice, poker, like board games and stuff like that. Cool. But when it came to Duel Monsters, that happened to be one of the aspects of the games he would play. But that one stuck out the most, and people was like, hey, we like Duel Monsters. Stick to that. And they was like, okay, we'll just make a whole thing about it. And now it's spawned to that. So that's good. And my last three, I call the Space Opera Trinity. Talked about this 5 on anime. Made a couple videos on TikTok. Please, if you like, go check my TikTok out. It's the same name, Fly Guy Kai. The Holy Trinity of Space. I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. The Holy Trinity of Space Opera, Space Westerns that came out in 1998. Basically around the same time. Given a couple of months. Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Outlaw Star. Love Cowboy Bebop. One of the best openings that you could jam to of all time. That and Yu Yu Hakusho, jam all day. That one is out of the 3. That's my number 1. My number 2, which I recently moved to number 2 after rewatching both Outlaw Star and Trigun. Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star is fire. It ropes you in. Outlaw Star ropes you in better than Trigun does. It makes you want to stay and watch more of it. Then, of course, there's Trigun. And Trigun Trigun gives you less space Western, more spaghetti Western. It's, it's nothing but deserts here and there. It's slow moving at certain parts. You only get to the nice quick draw of fast action towards the end. It's okay, mind you. Just like Cowboy Bebop, I suggest you go on my level or my listings. Cowboy Bebop, must see. Outlaw Star, see it when you got time. See it when you got time. Trigun, I'm not gonna say don't see it, but ain't no rush. And that's my 10 anime that I've watched. So we got 20 anime in total that I've listed between this video and the last one. If you've watched any of those, let me know. If you watched all of them so far, let me know, because I might be gearing towards potential partners, towards potential people we can make some Discords or some Reddits with, potential communities we could build, or some potential people I can discuss stuff with in general. Potential friends, other. And that is my time. Thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Help the captain, the main character. Help the flyest guy around. Get his following up. Get on the map. Feed my kids. Nah, I ain't got kids. Feed myself. But try to do some things with this. Trying to be one of those people. Especially since I got all the time in the world. Yes. But don't worry. Tune in next time. Just tune in next time. I was gonna have a cool thing for that, but I don't have a cool thing right now, so see you, Space Cowboy.